All right. Macy, introduce yourself.
Oh, is that me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Say hi.
We're gonna restart. Take it from the top.
Okay, Reed.
Hi, I'm Reed.
I'm so
Ty.
Hey, I'm Ty.
Okay.
Hi, my name's Sam Crouter, and tonight I will be giving you a speech on how to improve our voting system. According to a joint study done between Princeton professor Martin Gillens and Northwestern professor Benjamin Page, our democracy is being replaced by an oligopoly as legislation shifts away from voter preference and towards the desires of the wealthy. The first way that we can work to improve this is to eliminate gerrymandering, which is the system under which senators and sitting legislatures redistrict their voting areas after the census every 10 years, as well as finance reform to get money out of politics. Another way to improve our democracy is to increase voter turnout. To do this, we can try automatic registration, as Oregon started in 2016, and during that time period, R.A. Berman reported that voter registration in Oregon was 3 times higher than it had previously been. There's also compulsory voting, and Australia follows this system, and they have a 94% turnout with compulsory voting for their electorate. And then we could also move the election day to the weekend or make it a federal holiday. The main way that we can increase our democracy is by changing our election system. We currently use a first-past-the-post system, and we could very easily switch to the proportional representation or a system of ranked choice voting, or a combination of the two. We, along with the UK, Canada, and France, are the only developed countries to still use the first-past-the-post voting system, according to USA Today. In the first-past-the-post voting system, the winner takes all, and this is basically after they cross a certain threshold for a number of votes, they get all of the representatives in that voting district. This can provide a relatively stable government, but it comes at the cost of decreasing the responsiveness of legislatures to the will of the voters. Under a proportional representation system, each district's representation is based off of the percentage of votes that each candidate received and would allow for a higher representation of the will of the people. There are also minimum voting thresholds to keep the vote from being spread too thin, where you will only be awarded a representation if you get above between 10 and 15% of the vote, varying on jurisdiction. The final option is ranked choice voting, which allows voters to rank their choice preference for candidates. And the way this works is if we were also doing a proportional representation, then if a candidate did not reach the minimum threshold for representation, their votes would then count to the voter's second choice candidate. This allows for every vote to actually matter and for voters' voices to be heard. The way that we can have these changes come about is by contacting our representatives. If you do, your voice will matter. If not, nothing will change. Thank you very much.
All right, Mac, introduce yourself again.
Wow. This is Mac.
Reed.
Oh, great job, Sam. My name's Reed.
Ty.
Good job, Sam. My name's Ty.
Okay.